The latest development of the Russell Brand story is that Russell Brand's YouTube channel has been demonetized to protect its users. YouTube has suspended Russell Brand's channels from making money from adverts for violating its creator responsibility policy. And it says if a creator's off platform behavior harms its users, employees, or ecosystem, we take action. And therefore, Russell Brand not only has his stage show been suspended, not only has his has his representation gone, just like Philip Schofield, the people who are around him have fled. The the bans which YouTube has imposed are rare, but there have been examples of this happening, and the Slovakian star David Dobrik, the US YouTuber James Charles, and I think YouTube's Russell Brand's YouTube channel probably was making between £2,000 and £4,000 per video, along with deals and sponsorship, and that will now be lost. It means that he is in a very, very tight corner simply because of allegations. But frankly, the story of his behaviour with the dog when he was 7 years old, the story of the Andrew Sachs telephone messages. When I put up the story about the Andrew Sachs thing, and I thought it was important to gather all this information together. So I sourced the original calls and so on, along with some of Andrew Sachs's response. Andrew Sachs was terribly gentlemanly about the entire episode. But I mistakenly said that it went out live. It didn't go out live, and this actually makes it, I think, even worse. It went out later, which means that it went out with the approval of the BBC producers, which explains now why a BBC producer at the time resigned. But I think heads should have literally fallen for that in a row. The BBC was completely complicit in the Andrew Sachs humiliation, and it was utterly, utterly wrong. And people heard what was said. They thought that was okay for broadcasting, and it definitely was not. It was not okay even to do. There's a point at which humour crosses the line between what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. And as for the story of the dog, there's a point where children learn, and to brag about something, to brag about abusing an animal in a memoir, when you are in a position where people look up to you and follow your example, is abhorrent, utterly, utterly abhorrent. So here we've got a person. I wouldn't be surprised if his voice is redubbed in the Minions series. At this stage, he is becoming an embarrassment, and that's without the allegations having been substantiated as fact. So this conversation, and I think the mood has shifted. and the conversation about whether or not this is something criminal or not criminal, that is another conversation. That is a different conversation, and one that I know the YouTube community is very keen on, but it is a different conversation. This is a conversation about reputation and about responsible behaviour and presenting a responsible image, and YouTube guarding that responsible image. What YouTube has called its creator responsibility policy, and that's not only about what is done on YouTube; it's about the reputation of the person off YouTube as well. So I think that sums up rather well, actually. YouTube's response is an interesting and a significant response, a decisive response.